Necalli's EX command grab saw an increase in damage and stun, both in and out of trigger. The command grab is the core of Necalli's mix-up, so making it more rewarding is always a big deal. VT1 got overhauled big time. It's now only 2 bars instead of 3. Once you're in trigger, you still get all the same buffs. Faster specials, more damage, better walk and dash speed, etc. However, now you have an actual timer on your trigger, and once it's gone, you're back at 0 bars. It's a pretty short timer too, the same as Ryu VT1. This means Necalli can activate trigger much earlier in the match, at the downside that it can now wear off. More importantly, having a 2-bar trigger means he can now use V-Shift and V-Reversal more liberally, without locking himself out of trigger for that round. In order to make your brief time in VT1 more valuable, devs buffed Necalli's trigger attack. You can now cancel into it from his stomp, which is particularly good for heavy stomp where it juggles. After this, you can juggle medium uppercut, EX uppercut, or super. There were no changes to VT2, so if you want a permanent trigger, you still have one. Necalli also had some changes to the trigger versions of Light and EX Disc's guidance to make them more juggle friendly. I think this was to let them juggle after heavy stomp, because I don't think that was possible before. I really like this overhaul for Necalli. Previously, his 2 triggers were all but identical apart from the 2 trigger attacks. Even though people generally never used either of them, it was usually agreed that VT2's trigger attack was more useful, so every single Necalli player I saw just picked VT2. Now the triggers are pretty substantially different, so you've got to put some actual thought into which one you want. And the new combos are fun too. Necalli only got buffs, so he made out like a bandit considering he's a sleeper high tier, I think.